Hi, I'm Jen Rosa. I'm a litigation partner here in the New York office at Mayer Brown. I've been with the firm about 12 and a half years. I lateraled here as a fourth year associate, and I focus primarily on financial services litigation. So I'm also going to talk to you a bit about the summer program. I was the chair of our summer committee this year, and it was certainly quite a year to take on that role. As you can imagine, it was a bit daunting for us all to have to pivot and quickly turn our usual in-person program into a virtual program. But it was also really fun and rewarding to come up with creative ways to make sure our summer associates still had a great experience from both the perspective of substantive work, but also the social piece of it, so that they could truly get a sense of what it's like to work at Mayer Brown. And I have to say, our recruiting team did a phenomenal job with the program this summer. So as you may know, this summer, our program was fully virtual. It was 5 weeks. We had 20 New York summer associates, and they all received and accepted their offers. One of the sort of keystones of the program this year was a really robust mentoring program. So we had 3 mentors per summer associate, a junior associate, a more senior associate, and then a partner. Usually in our in-person program, each summer gets a partner mentor and an associate mentor. But we thought it made sense to have 3 this year, simply to increase the number of touch points that each summer associate had with attorneys at the firm from day one. Our summers also had a great deal of interaction with the attorneys through social events and substantive work. So on the social front, we had a lot of virtual activities and events like yoga classes, cooking classes, happy hours, trivia, and a lot of practice group specific events, as well as diversity events with the many firm affinity groups that we have here in the office. There were also a lot of opportunities for informal and formal networking. So for example, people would often grab virtual coffees over Zoom or WebEx during the day, or sometimes even drinks after work virtually. Or there would be sort of these more formal settings, such as, litigation group has a monthly litigation group lunch, and we would invite the summers to things like that. And I know a lot of other practice groups did the same. And we got a lot of internal feedback this summer that many of our attorneys felt like they actually had more interaction with the summers this year in the virtual world. And I think that's because it's pretty easy for anyone to fit in a quick, 20, 30-minute virtual coffee, into almost anybody's schedule. Whereas when we're in the office, sometimes it's a little harder to find time to leave the office and go out to lunch or go, walk to a coffee shop. So I think everyone felt that there was a lot of really great opportunities to interact this year. And I can say from personal experience, I think I really got to know the summers so much more than I even do in a normal summer. And I've always been very involved in the summer program. So it was a really great experience. In addition to the social piece, we also try really hard to make sure that our summers get real substantive work that gives them a real sense of life as a junior associate at Mayer Brown. We're not looking to just give you busy work. We want you to know what, a real day-to-day experience would be if you joined the firm after law school. So one of the best features of our program, in my mind, is that you have exposures to all practice groups. So you have the opportunity to work on assignments in a variety of practice areas to see what interests you. And I always encourage summer associates to try everything, even if you come in already having an idea of what practice group you're interested in. Even if you ultimately stick with that, it's really valuable to gain experience in other areas. One example I like to give is that I'm a litigator, but most of what I litigate over are financial services matters. Most of my clients are large banks and a lot of other financial institutions, and they often involve complex transactions, trading, bonds, things that, when I started out as a junior associate, I knew nothing about sort of these financial products. And, having a little background in the transactional world really helps me to understand the products that I'm litigating over. And vice versa, I think for a transactional lawyer, having some exposure to litigation, when you're doing a deal or drafting a contract, you might be better able to spot an issue that could lead to litigation in the future that you might not otherwise think about if you had never had exposure to any litigation work. So I think it's just such a great experience that our summers can get exposure to many practice areas. It also helps you just meet more people at the firm. And then in addition to billable work, of course, we have a great training program for our summers. There are a lot of formal scheduled programs and also on-the-job training where you're getting a lot of guidance and mentoring from associates and partners at the firm. So you may be thinking, well, what's the program going to look like in 2021? And what I can say is that we will definitely have a summer program in 2021, but we're not really sure yet if it's going to be virtual and in person. the situation is constantly evolving and, we're staying up to date on, how things are looking. But I can promise that it'll be a great experience no matter what. The main format of the program won't change too much, whether in person or virtual. The assignments will still work the same. We'll have similar training programs, but of course, some of the social aspects may or may not be virtual or in person, depending on what happens. But we've always had an amazing program, so no matter which way things go next summer, I'm confident that our incoming summers will have a great experience again.
Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening to prospective law students, whoever else is watching. My name is Daniel Scher, Scher. I'm an 8th year in the banking and finance practice in the New York office of Mayer Brown LLP. I've been with the firm my entire legal career. I was a summer in the great summer of 2012 and have built out and developed my career at Mayer Brown. I wanted to share a few thoughts about the summer program. This year, obviously, was the first time that we've ever had an entirely virtual summer program. And I think it was an experiment that went better than a lot of people could have ever imagined, myself included. I think the summer associates had a really rewarding experience. They were able to get involved with a lot of work. They were able to reach out to associates and partners and form some good connections. I know, speaking personally, this summer was probably the most recent summer in which I've been able to really spend a lot of time with associates and summer candidates, because I had so many people reaching out to me saying, hey, do you have 15 minutes for a virtual coffee? And I can always fit in 15 minutes during the day. Sometimes when we've had in-person programs, it gets so busy and people want to schedule like an hour or 2 hour long lunch, and it's just too much time out of my day. But this summer, with people reaching out to me and just wanting to check in quickly, I was able to do that with some candidates. Like almost every week, we were having kind of regular coffees, like how's the program going? What have you been working on? So I felt that I was able to build really good relationships with summer candidates, and I think that that's something you can look forward to, both if the program is virtual, and then also if we go back to a regular program. We've always had a very, very good, very robust, very engaging in-person summer associate program. One of the things that I think really distinguishes both Mayer Brown and our summer program is that it really rewards proactivity. And if you're willing to reach out to people, as people are reaching out to me, if you're willing, if we're in person, to walk the corridors, knock on doors, do some research on partners and associates and find out what kind of deals they're doing, if you're willing to do that and then to reach out, people will respond very, very well. I mean, I knock on a door and you say, hey, I read that you did this amazing deal with, this client, and I'm just wondering if you have anything else like that. I think you'd be very, very pleased and actually quite amazed at the response that you'll get. It's very, very warm, very enthusiastic. Everybody likes talking about the work that they do. Everybody likes, involving summers in what they're doing. And so I think that that's something that summer candidates can really look forward to at the program.